A very busy Auckland at the moment. Jackson, Jacinda Ardern and her political rival Judith Collins faced off in a leaders' debate last night.
Yeah, speaking of Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister, the leader of the Labor Party, is behind me. She's spending the final day of the election campaign here in West Auckland. She's currently at a company that produces a number of the components that go into making America's Cup yacht. So the Prime Minister here this morning will just walk towards the Prime Minister, currently speaking with some of the workers here at this business. It's a busy day ahead for Jacinda Ardern. The final day on the hustings ahead of the New Zealand election. We know already so many people have voted. More than 1.5 New Zealanders have entered early polling booths ahead of the election. Today, really an opportunity for political leaders, Jacinda Ardern and Judith Collins, to win over some of those undecided voters, and also just simply, Peter, to encourage people to actually make the effort to visit a polling booth, because unlike Australia, polling is not mandatory here in New Zealand. So today, Jacinda Ardern, following this visit, she's going to be blitzing malls right across West and South Auckland, pressing the flesh, meeting as many voters as possible. Last night, in that televised leaders' debate, the Prime Minister made that admission that if Labor loses tomorrow's election, which doesn't appear likely, she'll not only step down as leader of the Labor Party, but will quit politics altogether. This is a very unlikely scenario. Labor in a commanding position one day out from the election, polling at 46% in the latest TVNZ Colmar Brunton poll, a 15 percentage point lead over the opposition National Party. Here's the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, on why she'll quit if Labor loses.
I've been around politics for long enough to know that if you don't successfully lead your party through an election, that it is time to move on. And so that's what I would do.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader, Judith Collins, has spent a lot of this week campaigning, warning against a wealth tax if Labor and the Greens are in a position to form a government. We know that the Green Party is in favour of this and say it will be on the negotiating table if Labor and the Green Party are in a position to form a government. But the Prime Minister could not have been clearer. Jacinda Ardern, almost every day now, has been very clear that this is off the table. It will not be on the negotiating table. A wealth tax will not be introduced if Labor is back in power. But that hasn't stopped the leader of the opposition, Judith Collins, from claiming that the Prime Minister is simply misleading voters. We'll have a look at how this debate played out last night on TVNZ.
This has been happening for 2 weeks now. Well, it is a desperate political strategy to try and get votes, and it is wrong. We said that we would campaign on fact, that we would play it straight. This is a blatant campaign of misinformation that I'm putting an end to. I've made my view absolutely clear and my intention absolutely clear. To imply otherwise is just wrong.
You can't afford to say that when you know that the Greens in their welfare policy that they want to put in will add another $12 billion a year to the welfare budget. How can you possibly afford?
So, Peter, a busy day ahead on the campaign trail for both Labor leader Jacinda Ardern and her political rival Judith Collins. Both leaders campaigning in Auckland. The Prime Minister behind us. She's actually here on the hustings, joined by her partner, Clark Gayford, who's here. Clark, do you mind having a quick chat? How are you feeling?
What are the choice? You just dragged me into this.
What are the nerves? Are there nerves ahead of tomorrow?
Look, it's so nice to actually be at this end of the campaign after the false start and the early starts and the long days. It's just nice to see the end of it. I think everyone's ready to just see the end of it.
Are you a bit fatigued? I think a lot of people out in the community, this campaign, it's been drawn out. It feels like it's been going on for months now. Are you looking forward to seeing a little bit more of your partner, the Prime Minister?
A little bit more. I mean, she's barely had a break this year. It does feel a wee bit Groundhog Day with the alarm going off super early each morning and, rolling out of bed and getting on and into it. But, yeah, it will be nice to just have, whatever the result, it'll be just nice to have that closure tomorrow so that maybe some sort of normalcy can return.
All the best, and enjoy the sleep in tomorrow. There's no campaigning in New Zealand on election day, so you'll get to spend the day with the Prime Minister, which must be nice. It probably hasn't happened in a long time.
No, it hasn't.
All the best. Thanks, Clark. Peter, there you go. That's Clark Gayford.
Can you quickly ask him?
Jacinda Ardern, who's...
Yeah, ask him quickly how he feels about losing the Bledisloe Cup this year. Jacinda Ardern's on the other side of you, by the way. How
do you feel, Prime Minister? I'll see if we can get the Prime Minister. We're live on air, Prime Minister. Hey, how are you feeling a day out from the election?
Oh, fantastic, thank you. Yeah, slightly interrupted, but that's...
Sorry to do that to you. What's your final pitch to voters?
Oh, our message is a clear one. If you want strong, stable government and a strong economic recovery from COVID-19, then that's a vote for Labor.
And what's the pitch to those Kiwis living in Australia?
Get out and vote. You know, actually, their vote makes a huge difference, particularly this year. This is an incredibly important
Travel bubble,
election.
Jackson.
It's
Travel
nice
bubble.
and easy. So use your right to vote. Your view on New Zealand's future matters to us.
Just one final question, Prime Minister. From today, New Zealanders are able to travel to New South Wales and the Northern Territory, but obviously it's a one-way arrangement. Are you worried that New Zealanders are going to use this opportunity to leave the country in pursuit of a better life across the Tasman?
No, I'm not. I think they can see the freedoms we've managed to sustain here in New Zealand through the plan that we have. And, of course, we'll be thinking about that as well. There's around the world a lot of uncertainty, but we've provided as much certainty as we can here.
What's your tip for the Bledisloe? Obviously, very unlucky last weekend. It was a draw, but pretty much treated as a win by the Australians.
Eden Park definitely always, helps. And so, I think, I feel like Pierre Morrison was already trying to hedge his bets, but I doubled the stakes.
Will you wear a Wallabies jersey if
I proposed that as a possible bet. I noticed we haven't picked that up. Instead, we just...
This can be a new bet between... you and me.
I'm not sure that's how this works.
Thanks, Prime Minister. All the best. Peter, how about that? The Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, joining us live here on Sky News this morning. Not only Jacinda Ardern, but her partner, Clark Gayford, as well. Not a bad effort on the final day of campaigning. Welcome to New Zealand, where you can approach the Prime Minister, have a chat live on air. I don't think it can happen in many other countries, and it's a testament to the current climate here in New Zealand. No COVID restrictions currently in place. All restrictions were lifted right across the country in recent weeks, including here in Auckland. So you don't see people wearing masks, no one's social distancing, there's no cap on the number of people able to gather. So we're going to see tens of thousands of supporters pack into Eden Park this Sunday for the Bledisloe.
First class reporting, Jackson. Well done. Johnny on the spot today. A great little exclusive there. Well done to you. I'm proud of you, mate. We'll talk to you soon.